For thousands of years, we've been under the impression the Bible was meant to be taken seriously. Finally, a new translation that'll change all that. This is Oh My God, What the Fuck Bible! Strong applause. Yeah! Oh my God. We made it. We all made it here. Welcome to episode 40 of Oh My God, What the Fuck Bible with me, David Tuckman. I'm coming to you from the Stanton Street Shul in front of a massive, crazy audience. Yeah. Give it up for yourself. Each month on the show, a guest joins me and tries to read as many chapters as possible of my own personal translation of the Hebrew Bible while I make fun of it. And tonight, we're reading the 8th portion of Leviticus, known in Hebrew as Emor, and in English as... well, you will see. I can't believe I've done 40 episodes of this. This is crazy. I made an insane decision in 2012, and I'm still somehow doing it. Today is June 8th, 2016. What's going on in the news? We finally have a female presidential candidate, which is awesome. Yeah, give it up for Hillary one. I mean... it's not over. Bernie's still fighting, but guys, Bernie lost. He just lost. Give it up, man. It's that like lone Jew, just like, no, we still got it. No, it's over. The Clintons, man. Next show, we're still figuring out exactly when it's going to be. Anyway, if you like the show, reach out to me online. It's fun. Talk to me. I will respond sometimes. I don't have any other news to get to. This is probably going to be the second to last episode in Leviticus. We're just flying through Leviticus, and I have some interesting announcements to make next episode about what the future of the show is going to be. It will continue, but it might not be in the same form that you know and love right now, but you'll probably know and love it even more with what we do to it. Are you guys ready for your guest? Let's get your guest up here. Now, she is the co-founder of Matriarch, a line of gender-neutral shoes. Please give it up for Rachel Waxman.
Thank you, David.
Hi, Rachel. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Good. I like your shirt. You've got a Matriarch shirt on. We are, and Oh My God, What the Fuck Bible button on, which is awesome. There's like some brand collision happening right now.
Co-branding.
Co-sponsoring.
Yep.
Exactly. We're all combining. What is Matriarch?
Well, Matriarch is an entity in the Bible, of course.
Yes, there are a bunch of them.
But in my perspective, Matriarch is a line of shoes that my sister and I are launching on Kickstarter. There's like 8 minutes left to donate. But basically what we stand for is gender equality in footwear and in life. But basically creating a line of shoes that's for men, women, non-binary folks, super awesome quality, super awesome design, super awesome prices, handmade, just really awesome shoes that I think are really ignoring that gender line in fashion that I think is beginning to slowly dissolve.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting. I mean, it's so weird that, I mean, there's so many shoes that could easily be for two genders. It's so weird to have.
But they don't make them in all sizes. It's
right.
Like, let me buy that shoe. Oh, my foot is not, 2.5 feet long. Like,
right, exactly. It's why can't it just be for both? It's crazy that it's taken this long.
It's time.
It's time.
We're late. You know what I mean?
We're very late. But I think it's a really good cause. I've donated, partly because I think your shoes look really nice. And I'm excited to get my pair. How close are you to your goal?
So we are, I think, at press time, like 95% to our goal. Doesn't mean our goal needs to stop at 100%. We can go over the goal, all y'all. So I think we have like $1,000 left. That's like 5 pairs of shoes, 4 pairs of shoes. So I see like 20 feet out there. So I think there's definitely time. We have shoes, we have shirts, we have socks, which are actually really cute. They go with the shoes. And I think even if like every little bit helps, I mean, just being here talking about it, every euro helps.
Yes, it's in euros. If you get confused by that, don't worry. It'll convert it from dollars for you. How much longer is it? When does it end? Because we're going to try to rush this episode to get it out before this ends so that people can hear it.
It actually ends, and I appreciate that, but it ends on Friday, June 10th at 10 a.m. So not 8 minutes, but not much more.
So get your donations in if you're hearing this on Thursday, which is my goal. I want to talk to you about yourself because this is a show where we talk about religion a little bit, and I always like to ask my guests about what their perspective is before we start reading it. So What is your background in terms of Judaism or religion?
Sure. So I grew up in a sort of modern Orthodox household. Went to yeshiva day school my entire life. Went to NYU. It's been pretty standard. And I think I continue to uphold many of the values and traditions that I was brought up with to the current day.
Okay.
And I'm old now, so.
Wow. So do you continue to identify as Orthodox right now, modern Orthodox? Do you feel like you need to identify as a particular denomination?
I mean, you're asking me, so I would say that I'm identifying as modern Orthodox.
Okay.
I think that every Jew out there probably has their own brand of Judaism, which I totally support. But for me, if I had to be put into, I guess, a large bucket, it would be modern Orthodoxy.
Interesting. I mean, you're probably, I guess, on like the more left-leaning edge of it if you're running a shoe line that's about gender neutrality and.
Well, I think that the world is forcing us to put it that way. I think it's just a line of shoes. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
And it's for men, it's for women. People have existed since people have existed, and since almost the beginning of the Bible, I guess.
Yes. I don't think that the sandals were gendered in the Bible when they were walking.
They were
around.
Like all sizes. They were gender neutral.
Exactly.
I mean, nobody went to the men's store.
Right. This is very biblical what you're doing. It's really true to what we're reading.
I think so.
How familiar are you with the Bible or the Tanakh?
I studied it, not recently.
Okay.
In the original language, I should say, in the original text. Of
course.
So I'm quite the scholar, but a lapsed scholar, I would say.
Do you think that you ever read the whole thing? Have you read the whole thing? I haven't.
Cover to cover, I'm not sure. I have a pocket Tanakh. I haven't read the whole thing.
Do you have a favorite story or character in the Tanakh?
No.
Okay. Do you have a favorite matriarch in the Tanakh?
Yes, obviously. Rachel, my namesake, my matriarch. I don't want to get too into it, but
you got two. Okay, that's okay. You've got two matriarchs in the company.
I think that also kind of influenced the name of the decision to name it as such. But I think it also just speaks to a larger kind of feeling that women. It's not, a female brand, but I think that women are running it, and it's an important part of our identity.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Women running shit. That's like the theme of the day or the
2016.
week right now. 2016. Women. Who runs the world? Matriarchs. Do you believe in God? This is a question I ask all my guests.
I do.
Okay, cool. Are you guys ready to read the Bible?
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready, Rachel?
Never been more.
Sweet. This is Torah, a loose translation. Book 3, he called, episode, chapter, section 7, Telem, chapter 51, in which there are more Kohen rules. Leviticus 21:1 to 21:15 in the normal chapterization. Kohen, by the way, is the Hebrew word for priest, just so you know.
Tell the Kohens, Yehovah said to Moshe, they should not get yucky by touching dead bodies, except for close family, a father, a mother, son, daughter, and brother.
I feel like in general people shouldn't touch dead bodies, but it's the desert. There was nothing to do.
If a sister is a maiden, if a sister is a maiden who has not yet been taken by a man, she's considered a close relative, and he can get yucky. I keep reading that as lucky, which I know is wrong.
Get lucky by touching his dead sister.
He can get yucky by being near her dead body. He shouldn't get yucky. He's a master in his nation.
Which I think is the precursor for master in your domain, because nobody really knows what that phrase means. Some of the translators think that it means that he cannot get yucky for a relation by marriage, so only his immediate family. But again, one of those phrases that nobody understands. Also, the maiden, I've translated it as a maiden. The word in Hebrew, I believe, is betulah, which many people translate as virgin, but is not necessarily virgin. It seems more like a woman who has not been taken by a man, what we would understand as an unmarried woman. But sexual politics among the rabbis is very complicated. Anyway, sorry.
He shouldn't shave his head, cut the corners of his beard, or make any cuts in his skin.
Interesting.
They must be holy to their Elohim and cannot profane their Elohim's name. They bring Yehovah's fire offerings and Elohim's bread offerings, okay? So they should be holy. He cannot take a slut, a profane woman.
That means a lady who curses a lot. Not in a Kohen's house.
None of us here are that.
Yeah.
Or a woman whose man has chased her away.
So that means a divorcee, but very interesting that the Hebrew for a divorcee is a woman who's been chased away by her man. Interesting Bible.
He is holy to his Elohim. You must make him holy because you bring Elohim's bread. You must be holy because I, Jehovah, the one who made you holy, am holy.
That's very circular logic, but all right.
If a Kohen's daughter profanes herself by slutting it up, she also profaned her father and must be burned in a fire.
Oh, God. Anyone else's daughter, totally cool.
The Kohen, who's bigger than his brothers and had the anointing oil poured on his head and his hands filled to wear the clothing, can't leave his hair uncut or his clothing torn up.
The boss Kohen.
He can't get yucky by being near dead bodies, not even his father or mother. Oh. He had the anointing oil poured on him, so he can't leave the sanctuary or profane Elohim's sanctuary.
Can never leave it. Very scary.
I am Jehovah. He must take a pure unmarried woman and not a chaste woman or dirty slut whore. Just be a fair, wonderful maiden. He cannot profane his semen because I am Jehovah who made him holy.
That's chapter 51. So much profanity and rules about ladies. No rules about men. Chapter 52, in which God is not so friendly to the differently abled. Leviticus 21:16 to 21:24.
Tell Aaron, Jehovah said to Moshe, that if any of his kids have any kind of disability, they can't bring bread to me.
Gonna need more definition than that. I hope it's coming because that's everyone.
Okay, wait for it. So
this includes
a blind man, a lame man, a maimed person, or someone whose arms or legs are too long.
You can fix like most of those things, right? God is it's very subjective.
Or if he's got a broken leg or hand.
Yeah, God hates, like if you have an accident, he hates you.
It's your fault, you know.
Yeah.
A hunchback, a dwarf, a unibrow haver, a scab person, someone with scurvy.
Just pluck or trees.
Or someone with crushed testicles.
Yes. Oh. One of these things is not like the other. Also, there are like totally divergent translations of this. In another version that I read, I guess the more traditional one, the rabbinical version, it's somebody with weird eyebrows. So they're like very droopy eyebrows. A cataract. So screw you if your eyes suck. Some kind of crazy eye colors, if your eye colors are all weird. Boils or crushed testicles. For some reason, that's consistent no matter what.
If any of Aaron's kids are messed up, they can't bring Jehovah's fire offerings or Elohim's bread. He can eat Elohim's bread from the super holy and the regular holy. He just can't go through the screen or come to the altar because he's a freak.
A super freak.
Yeah, I don't want him to make my sanctuary gross because I am Jehovah who made them holy. Moshe spoke to Aaron, his sons, and all the sons of Israel.
That's chapter 52. Chapter 53, in which God says stuff. Leviticus 22:1 to 22:16.
Tell Aaron and his sons, Jehovah said to Moshe, to be careful with the holy donations the son of Israel gives, so they don't profane my holy name that made me holy.
The 5-second rule does not apply to the Kohens.
I am Jehovah. Tell them that if any of their kids screw up and get the holy donations yucky, their soul is cut off from in front of me.
Oh, God is so inattentive.
I am Jehovah again. Any of your seed who's a leper.
It's a bit of a theme with this guy.
Any of your seed who's a leper or a leaky man.
That's like if you just have a leak coming out of your body.
Sure,
that happened
if
back
you
then.
say
They
so.
didn't have penicillin.
Can't eat the holy stuff until he gets clean, or if he touches a dead guy, or anyone who's recently jizzed.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know.
That's yucky.
Anyone who touches a squirmy thing that's yucky to him, or anyone who's just generally yucky.
Like Pigpen.
He'll become yucky until that night. He can't eat the holy stuff unless he bathes in water.
Which I feel like you should take a bath. If you touch a dead body, you should take a bath.
When the sun comes, he's clean. After, he can eat the holy stuff because it's his bread. He can't eat something that's torn up or died on its own. That's yucky.
Yeah.
I am
no
Jehovah.
roadkill.
They should keep my charge, not sin against it, and if they profane it, they die. I am Jehovah who made them holy. A regular dude, someone living with the Kohen or a servant, can't eat the holy stuff. But if a Kohen buys a slave, that guy can eat it, and anyone born in his house can eat his bread. If a Kohen's daughter ends up with a regular guy, she can't eat the holy tribute.
Big mistake.
If a Kohen's daughter is widowed or chased from her home and doesn't have a kid, she can go back to her father's house like when she was a kid and eat her father's bread, but no normal guy can eat it. If a man eats the holy food by accident, he should add a fifth to it and give it to the Kohen. Don't profane the holy stuff the sons of Yisrael made for Yehovah. If they eat the holy things, they must carry their iniquity, because I am Yehovah who made them holy.
And also, if they make the mistake of eating the holy things and carrying their iniquity, they have to give another sacrifice in order to repent, which, if they eat, starts the cycle all over again and just goes on and on and on. That is chapter 53. Chapter 54, in which we are seriously discussing the sacrifices again from the beginning of this book. Leviticus 22:17 to 22:25.
Tell Aaron, his sons, and all the sons of Israel, Yehovah said to Moshe, that I said that any man from the sons of Israel or from the strangers in Israel who brings a sacrifice for any of their vows or just because offerings to Yehovah as an olah, they have to bring a pure male from the cattle, sheep, or goat. Don't bring me anything that has a blemish. I don't want that. If a man brings If a man brings a peace offering to Yehovah to fulfill a vow or just for fun, if it's cattle or sheep, it has to be pure without any blemishes.
I wonder how possible that actually was to find a cow that has no scabs or blemishes or anything like that. It's not just wondering. I mean,
I feel like they maybe didn't look too closely.
Probably.
I don't know. If it's blind, broken, maimed, has a cut, warts, or a rash, don't bring it as a fire offering to Yehovah on the altar. You can make a freewill offering with a bull or lamb that has anything too long or short, but it won't be accepted as a vow.
Got that?
I mean,
not for vows, free wills only.
What's too long or too short?
If one of the arms or legs is longer than the other, if it's got a weird stump leg or
we don't like that.
Yeah, God doesn't like that.
That's yucky.
I don't know why he made it, but he doesn't like that.
It was a test.
Yeah.
If its testicles are bruised, crushed, torn, or cut, don't bring it to Yehovah.
You heard that?
Don't do this in your land.
God loves perfect round testicles. He doesn't like it. If you mess with testicles, God hates it.
You heard it from him.
Yeah.
Don't bring any kind of animal to Yehovah that was given to you by a foreigner. Foreigners.
Yeah.
There's corruption in them. It has a blemish. It won't be accepted.
God hates Foreigner, the band. That's chapter 54. Chapter 55, in which God just won't stop talking. Leviticus 22:26 to 22:33.
A bull, a sheep, or a goat is born, Yehovah said to Moshe, and it spends 7 days under its mother. From the 8th day and on, it can be accepted as a fire offering to Yehovah, whether it's a cow or a ewe. Don't offer it and its son on the same day.
That's just mean.
If you make a thank you offering to Yehovah, offer it on the same day that you eat it, so it will be accepted. Don't leave anything until the morning. I am Yehovah.
He's like Timmy from South Park.
Guard my commandments and do them. I am Yehovah.
I feel like it's his when he can't think of what he's going to say next. He's just I'm Yehovah.
I am Yehovah. Don't profane my holy name. Make me holy within the sons of Israel. I am Yehovah. I made you holy and took you out of Mitzrayim to be your Elohim. I am Yehovah.
That's chapter 55. There's no order to these rules. Chapter 56, in which we lay out the Jewish holidays. Leviticus 23:1 to 23:4. I think we've done this before, but let's do it again.
Tell the sons of Israel, Yehovah said to Moshe, about the times of Yehovah. These are my times. Call them the holy callings. Work for 6 days and make a Shabbati fucking Shabbos on the 7th day. That's a holy calling. Don't do any work. It's fucking Shabbos to Yehovah anywhere you live.
That's chapter 56. I feel like if you're wondering, just a reminder that I use the Walter Sobchak translation of the Bible, where every time the word Shabbat appears, it has to be preceded by the word fucking in honor of the Big Lebowski. Anyway, chapter 57, in which Pesach gets a date for it. Leviticus 23:4 to 23:8.
These are Yehovah's seasons, when the holy happenings go down. Yehovah's Pesach is in the evening on the 14th day of the first month. Yehovah's Matzah festival is on the 15th day of that month. Eat matzot for 7 days. That first day will be a holy happening to you. Don't do any work. Bring fire offerings to Yehovah for 7 days. The 7th day will be a holy happening Also, don't do any work.
Yes, on the first and 7th days. Nothing about extra days. Anyway, that's chapter 57. Don't get me started about what modern Jews have done to the holidays outside of Israel. Anyway, chapter 58, in which the people start having trouble keeping track of all these sacrifices. Leviticus 23:9 to 23:14.
Tell the sons of Yisrael, Yehovah said to Moshe, when they get to the land I'm giving them and they gather their harvest, they have to bring their first sheaf to the Kohen. He'll wave it before Yehovah so it'll be accepted. The Kohen will wave it on the day after the fucking Shabbos.
Finally, by the way, Rashi right here, Rashi, a medieval scholar who commented on the Torah and really just repeated stuff that the Talmud and other sources said, describes what this waving is. We've been reading all the time about how the Kohen has to wave a sacrifice at some point before offering it. According to the Talmud in Menachot 62a, you wave it back and forth to hold up back bad winds and up and down to stop bad dew, which in my mind is any type of mountain dew.
Even the Slurpees?
Even the Slurpees.
Okay. On the day you wave the sheaf, bring a pure 1-year-old lamb as an olah to the Yehovah, and a meal offering of 2/10 of fine flour mixed up with oil, a fire offering to Yehovah for a nice smell. Also, a 1/4 hin of wine.
You know, those measurements that we know what they are.
Don't eat bread, parched corn, or fresh ears until the middle of this day when the offering is brought to your Elohim. This is an eternal decree for generations wherever you live.
Oh, is it? It's not. We don't do that anymore. But it's interesting, wherever you live, except not at all. Anyway, that's chapter 58. Chapter 59, in which we establish Shavuot, the Jewish holiday your boss thinks you made up. Leviticus 23:15 to 23:22.
Count 7 weeks from the day after the fucking Shabbos when you bring the waving sheaf.
Oh my God, it's happening right now. Guys, it's almost Shavuot in like 2 days.
This is real time.
This is like laws being put into practice in front of our eyes.
Count 50 days and then bring a new meal offering to Yehovah.
Except for the part where we offer sacrifices to our God on an altar. But, you know, in practice.
Also, bring a waving bread from where you live, 2 loaves made of 2/10. Use fine flour to bake them with leaven, the first for Yehovah. Bring 7 pure 1-year lambs, 1 young bull, and 2 rams on the bread. They'll be an olah to Yehovah. Also, meal and drink offerings to make a nice smell for him. You'll make 1 goat for a sin offering and 2-year-old lambs for peace offerings. It'll be a holy happening in the middle of this day. Don't do any work. This is an eternal decree for generations wherever you live. When you harvest your land, don't finish harvesting the corner of your field and don't collect whatever falls. Leave that for the poor man and also the stranger.
That's that Lekit rule from last year about the gleaning that we talked about. Last month, sorry.
Oh,
anyway,
yes.
You have an important verse to say.
Yes. I am Yehovah, your Elohim.
That's chapter 59. Yeah. Shavuot, we're just flying through these arbitrary chapter divisions I made up. Chapter 60, in which God destroys any chance of Jewish productivity in September. Leviticus 23:23 to 23:32.
October this year, but
October?
You know.
Oh.
Tell the sons of Israel, Yehovah said to Moshe, on the first day of the 7th month, it'll be a Shabbat day, a memorial blast, a holy happening. Don't do any work. Bring fire offerings to Yehovah.
So that's the holiday of Rosh Hashanah. Nothing about like repenting or all that yet, but that's somewhere else. Don't worry about it. Just blow a blast.
Also, on the 10th day of the 7th month, Yehovah said to Moshe, it's a day of atoning. Make it a holy happening to you. Afflict your souls and bring fire offerings to Yehovah.
So it just says to afflict your souls. What does that mean? The rabbis debate. Throughout the Talmud, they figured it out that afflicting your souls means not wearing leather shoes. Is Matriarch all leather, even the soles?
Sustainably sourced, but yes.
Okay, so you can't wear those on Yom Kippur, so wear them 364 days of the year, or 3 if you count the other one, Tisha B'Av. You can't eat, you can't drink, you can't clean yourself, and also you can't have sex, according to the rabbis. It's an affliction.
It is. Don't do any work during this day, because it's a day for you to atone before Yehovah, your Elohim. Any soul that does not afflict itself on this day will cut off from his nation or her nation.
Yes.
I will destroy any soul that does any work during this day from within his nation. Don't do any work. This is an eternal decree for generations anywhere you live. It's a Shabbat fucking Shabbos for you. Afflict your souls on the 10th of the month at night. From night to night, make your fucking Shabbos.
That's chapter 60. I feel like by reading this, you destroy your chances of marrying a Kohen. Anyway, chapter 61, in which Sukkot is invented. Leviticus 23:33 to 23:44.
Tell the sons of Yisrael, Yehovah said to Moshe, on the 15th day of the 7th month, you've got a 7-day tent holiday for Yehovah. Make the first day a holy happening. Don't do any work. Bring fire offerings to Yehovah for 7 days. On the 8th day, it's a holy happening, and you've got to bring fire offerings to Yehovah. It's a special party day.
Ooh.
Also, don't do any work. These are the times Yehovah made for you. Holy happenings other than the fucking Shabbos to bring fire offerings, olah, meal offerings, sacrifice, and drink offerings to Yehovah. And also, other than your presents, your vows, your free offerings that you give to Yehovah.
That's a lot of friggin' sacrifices.
Don't do any work, but do all these things.
Yeah.
But on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you gather what the land produces, celebrate a festival to Yehovah for 7 days. The first day is Shabbati, and the 8th day is Shabbati. On the first day, take the fruit of the hadar tree, palm branches, branches from leafy trees, and willows from the river, and get happy before Yehovah, your Elohim, for 7 days.
So that has turned into that like lulav and etrog and aravim and hadasim thing that you see Jews have on the holiday of Sukkot. I don't know if the mitzvah tent comes to your town and you've never seen this, hop in and they will show it to you in October.
I thought that was talking about the hookah in the hut celebration that
Yes.
goes on, but yes.
And hookah in the sukkah.
Celebrate a festival to Yehovah for 7 days out of the year. This is an eternal decree for generations that you'll celebrate in the 7th month. No doubt wherever you are.
Yes. Even if you have no room to build one.
You'll live in tents for 7 days. Any native in Israel will live in tents. That way, for generations, you'll know that the sons of Israel lived in tents when I took them out of Mitzrayim.
That didn't happen, but all right.
There were so many tents.
Yeah.
I am Yehovah, your Elohim. Moshe told the sons of Israel the times of Yehovah.
That's chapter 61. Yeah. We are jumping all over the place because God cannot maintain a train of thought. Chapter 62, in which God describes what should happen in the sanctuary. Leviticus 24:1 to 24:9.
Command the sons of Israel, Yehovah said to Moshe, to bring you pure beaten olive oil to keep the lamp constantly lit. Aharon will light it from evening to morning outside the screen of witnessing in the tent of witnessing before Yehovah.
Where else would it be?
This is an eternal decree for generations. On this pure candelabra, always light the lamps before Yehovah. Take fine flour and bake 12 loaves with it, 2/10 of an ephah in each loaf. Put them in 2 rows, 6 in each row, on the pure table before Yehovah. Put pure frankincense on the row, so it's on the bread as a reminder of the fire offerings to Yehovah. Okay? Always set it before Yehovah on the fucking Shabbos. It'll be an eternal covenant for Aaron and his sons, who will eat them in the holy place because they're very holy offerings. An eternal decree.
Nope, not eternal. That's chapter 62. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Chapter 63, the last one in this episode, and also in which something happens. Leviticus 24:10 to 24:23. Hold on to your pants, your gender-neutral pants, because finally, in the book of Leviticus, something is going to happen.
Okay, the son of a Yisraeli woman and a Mitzri man went out into the sons of Yisrael.
So here, Rashi claims that the Mitzri man was the son of the man who Moshe killed all the way back in Exodus when he struck the guy and then buried him and had to become a fugitive from justice. Also, I feel like there's a claim that he looked into the man's future and saw that he wasn't going to have anybody important. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It kind of contradicts itself, but there you go.
Okay, so the Yisraeli woman's son did some stuff in the middle of camp with the Yisraeli man. The Israeli's woman's sons blasphemed the name and cursed it. He was brought to Moshe. His mother's name was Shlomit, daughter of Divri from the tribe of Dan.
Oh, man. Okay, the rabbis go off on Shlomit. They say that, first of all, she was a slut, and that since her name means peace unto you, Shlomit, she'd constantly be blabbing to people saying, peace unto you. And also, her mother, Divri, was just as bad, just from their names. They got that.
Sounds so horrible.
It's really not nice.
They put him under watch so Yehovah could tell them what to do. Take the blasphemer out of the camp, Yehovah said to Moshe. Have everyone who heard put their hands on his head. The entire crew will stone him.
That's a lot of people.
Whoa. They say this to the sons of Israel. Any man who curses his Elohim will carry his sin. Anyone who blasphemes Jehovah must die right away, stoned by everyone. I don't think we should say these things.
No. Don't. Guys, like, I know it's recorded, but don't tell anybody we've been doing this.
Whether they're stranger or native, if they blaspheme, they must die.
I feel like they're kind of sneaking rules into this story. This was a very tricky story.
Anyone who strikes a man's soul must die. If you strike the soul of an animal, you must pay a soul for a soul.
God, you're kind of rambling.
If a man gives his neighbor a blemish, whatever he did will be done to him.
It doesn't have to do with the blasphemer anymore, but...
A break under a break, an eye under an eye, a tooth under a tooth. Whatever he did to another man, do to him.
Oh my God, can this guy give one freaking law without going on a tangent?
There is one law for all of them, the stranger and the native alike. I am Jehovah, your Elohim.
Thanks.
Moshe spoke to the sons of Israel and took the cursor outside camp. They stoned him with rocks. The sons of Israel did as Jehovah commanded Moshe.
Terrifying. That's chapter 63. That's it. That's Emor. That's Tell Him. Give it up for Rachel Waxman. Thank you so much for reading. Oh my God. Wendy, thank you for the whiskey.
What?
Do you want me to cut
Where's
that?
mine?
Is it okay?
Just kidding.
Do you want a beer, whiskey? What would you like? There's vodka in the back. Okay. Great. That's the reading. Now's the time of the show that we come to what we call our Devar Torah, which literally means Torah word. So, Rachel, I would ask you to not translate, but try to simplify or capture everything that we've just read into a single word. What would your Devar Torah be?
Well, the first, I think it's 2 words, but they're like related. It would be fire offering.
Okay.
Yes, because it seemed to be a theme.
There's a lot about the fire offerings.
There were a lot of fire offerings.
There's a lot of fire offerings. There are a lot of ins and outs to the rules of these offerings that are kind of given in a bit of a piecemeal fashion to the people, which is interesting and super confusing if you're trying to actually follow them, and why we probably have like volumes of, you've got whiskey too, volumes of literature dedicated to it. Cheers.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. My Torah word was balls.
I think you mean crushed testicles.
Like testicle. Just because I've been reading about fire offerings for a while, and that's what stood out to me. It's interesting, just God does not seem to care much about the shaft, but the balls, they have to be pure and perfect, and that stood out to me. There are a lot of the work in the sanctuary is not very accessible. There's if you have any of these problems and they're translated in different ways, but it's not like you can't be in the tribe, but you cannot. God wants the people who work in the sanctuary or in the temple to be like these pure,
specimens,
not broken people. Like even the eyebrow thing too. It's like if you have a unibrow, you're out.
Because some of those things you can change about yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like you can pluck or
exactly.
you can whatever.
There's actually a rule somewhere else that says you can't cut the hair between your eyes.
Oh.
You're not allowed to pluck according to the Bible, guys. Yeah. But you're saying these are things, some of them are about how you present yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're saying.
I mean, they're not you can change these things. So you're not going to be yucky forever. You
right,
know what
exactly.
I mean?
You can clean yourself. And also if you're blind, it's probably not a great idea for you to be involved in the super complicated.
That's how you crush your testicles.
Exactly. That's how you crush other people's testicles. What is there? Do you have any other thoughts on this? On what we read? What stands out to you from this?
Well, it just seems we're being told not to do work and lots of things, and there is a lot of work because you're serving your God and you're listening to Him and you're doing these things that He tells you. And I don't know, I consider that a form of work,
yes.
I would say. It's
interesting because we don't necessarily get it in the English, but it says you're not supposed to do malacha on these festivals and these times, which is a different word from how God refers to the work in the temple. That's called avoda, which is similar to malacha is kind of work of the world, I suppose, is the connotation to it. And then avoda is not really work. It's the same word for slave, so it's kind of this service to God. So that's work that you have to do versus the regular work of the world. But it's interesting. I mean, like, for the Kohanes and the Levies, whose role we didn't talk about there's a lot of work and a lot of things that they have to do in the temple in order to make these. I mean, they're working every single day.
And like, they must be so happy there's no temple now, because now they're kind of
exactly. Like, now they, like, what do? They, like, every holiday they stand up and wave their hands around and sing, and like they get paid money to give babies back to people.
Said, don't tell everything about Judaism. It's not.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Oh, I mean, but so in Israel, sorry, now let's save that for after, because I actually have a question about that. But yeah, I mean, but there's also, like, the whole way that they live is they're separate from the world, and they live off of these sacrifices. Like, that's their meal, which is kind of a bummer, I guess. Like, nowadays, if you're a Kohen, you don't get to eat everybody's barbecue.
That actually does suck now that you mention it. So
anytime someone's grilling, you can just come by. The thing that I'm thinking of, like, it's kind of like the Yankees in a way. The way that the Yankees have, like, these codes of, like, your facial hair and how you're supposed to dress. That's kind of like God is kind of the George Steinbrenner of the ancient world.
I thought you were a Mets fan.
I am a Mets fan. I'm not saying I like that. I like scruff. I like a ragtag group of long-haired baseball-playing freaks. Yeah. Ragtag Yisraelites. I'm a Yisrael. I'm not a Kohen or a Levi. Is there anything else that this makes you think of?
I feel like you're leading me towards somewhere, but I'm not sure
No,
where.
I'm not. I'm just wondering. Like,
okay.
I don't want to, like, dominate all the thoughts. I feel like I harp on the same things because I've been reading all of this stuff. And the thing that drives me crazy is how, like, this is intended as a book of laws to be followed, but the organization is a disaster. It kind of, like, it jumps around, it repeats itself. It's very difficult to, like, you really have to go through this, and it does not look like a legal code. Like, you have to go through this and really figure out what rules apply where.
Maybe it's more of like a narrative where somebody's saying, here I am, it's me, do this, it's me, do this, it's me.
It's me.
And just kind of maybe, like talking to somebody who has a little bit of a tendency to be distracted or, their thoughts wander, and just kind of keep people focused and say, okay, do this fire offering. It's me. Like, don't be gross. It's me. And, do this and have a feast.
It's like a way of getting Moshe's attention back.
And yeah, it's like a conversation, with somebody who doesn't listen, which I feel like is quite accurate, I would say.
I think so. I think it's also like, it's maybe reminding, like, there's the constant, like, I'm the one who's giving you these rules. This isn't coming from somewhere else, like, constantly inserting it. It would be interesting if our leaders talked in that way, though. Like, if it was like, Donald Trump may, I don't know if he repeats his name in it a lot, but if it was like, the State of the Union is strong. We're going to devote more money for clean energy. I am Obama. We cannot allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon. I am Obama.
But there was no like social media, there was no Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and this, so like maybe people didn't, remember. Like it needs to be.
It's like an email signature.
Just told,
like, yeah. They're kind of like.
It's like a telegram where at the end you say like stop. It's like I am God, Like
these are kind of like tweets.
Yeah.
That's like his handle.
In a way.
I am Jehovah.
It's
Here's
like
a rule.
Proto tweet. Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe we're getting somewhere. Yeah.
We are. The verses are like individual tweets. Okay, we're gonna have a conversation after some people have like said some things that we might want to talk about. Do you mind hanging out and talking to the audience after we stop recording?
No, let's do it.
Okay, cool. Where can people find Matriarch online?
Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter.com, type in matriarch, as in the opposite of patriarch.
Yeah,
and you can find it. It's, like I said, there's like a second left to back us. I think at one point we're a featured fashion, brand
it's
or
project. It's
got
a lot of press too. Like.
Yes, we were on Huffington Post. We were on Mike. We were on Pride.com. We were on a couple other LGBTQ whatever sites, and some fashion sites as well. So, but go to Kickstarter, that's your best bet, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram under Matriarch, and you can find the link there. There's also some postcards in the back with some cool pictures of the actual merch. Fortunately, I don't have any real life samples today, but they're awesome, and if you don't have enough money for shoes, I'm sure you have enough money for socks, or if you just want to support in a friendly way, we would love that. So thank you.
And you're almost at your goal. You're under 1,000 left.
Under 1,000 left, which means we can do this, guys.
We can do this. Please donate. They're really cool shoes. I'm not just saying that because I want it to reach the goal so that I can get my shoes. As always, you can find the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, the website. If you're here, you've probably found it. Please listen on Stitcher, iTunes, podcast app, Google Play. Please share the show. Here's a fun way to share it. When you rent a car, what you do is you take a USB key, go to the website, OMGWTFBIBLE.com, download like the book of Genesis onto the USB key, and then when you return the car, actually do it in a zip car because nobody's going to check. They're not going to clean it. Put it in the little thing in the zip car and like push it plain so that it's in the middle of the first episode. That way, when the next person turns on the car, they'll just be hearing it and they'll be fans immediately.
You probably get so many new listeners that way.
Exactly. That's how we're going to spread it. I'll hand out USB keys to people. Just reach out to me. Please rate and review the show on iTunes. It really helps. As always, I want to thank so many people. I want to thank my tongue for behaving right now. I want to thank the Stanton Street Shul for hosting us. Give it up for this place. Remember, this podcast does not represent the views and opinions of the Stanton Street Shul. We're just using the space. I want to thank Wendy Chin for our marketing materials and for being awesome and supporting the show. Me. I want to thank John Passaro for doing sound. Give it up again for Rachel Waxman, our amazing reader tonight. And my gosh, thank you for listening. So many people have been listening. So many people come out to the show. It's really amazing that this weird idea that I had 4 years ago turned into this. So thank you. And make sure to listen again, because next time in the Bible,
more things.